My wife and I have been married for about 4 years. She brought 3 kids from previous relationships into the marriage while I have none. They moved into my house after the marriage because I live in a better school district. Obviously, we've had our ups and downs, but overall it's been good until a couple of weeks ago when I woke up and found a large dent running down the entire passenger side of my car. The dent is about hand's width wide, starts at the front fender and runs down to the rear tyre. I was furious and thought someone sideswept my car as it was parked in the street. I checked our doorbell camera to see if it recorded anything and was surprised to see our teen daughter sneaking out the house in the middle of the night and driving off in my car. She later returned hours later, stumbling into the house. Outside of those 2 events, the doorbell camera didn't record anything else but a couple of passing cars that didn't come close to mine. I angrily showed my wife the recording and told her our daughter needed to be punished, but she said she'd talk to her. I argued that talking wasn't enough, which led us into an argument. My wife argued that the new family dynamic has been hard on the kids, while I argued that it doesn't excuse the damage done to my car. I wanted her to agree to ground our daughter from social media and make her get a job to pay for the damage. We argued for hours until she said, "I don't get a say in any punishment because I'm not her father." That ended the argument and I walked off. Since then, I've checked out of any parental duties. I've been an adult and still make sure the kids are safe and fed, but I haven't done anything a father would do. They had doctor's appointments last week for their checkups because they play sports in school and I refused to drive them, causing my wife to have to take off work. They start school next week and I've dropped them off since moving in, but I told my wife she'd have to do it this year. She argued she couldn't because of her work schedule, and I answered a mother would figure it out. She called me a child and to grow up. I think since I'm not the father, I don't have to take on the responsibilities of one, but obviously she disagrees. Am I the idiot for checking out of parental duties after my wife said I'm not the father? Edit, my wife wants me to report it to my insurance as a hit and run. She said that way no one has to pay for it. I argue that I'll have to pay for it in the long run because they'll jack up my rates. I'm not ignoring the kids and I still talk to them daily. I just don't do or make any parental decisions as I stated above. Also, the other day, our son asked me if he should play basketball or football, and I told him to go ask his mother. Not the idiot. Your wife doesn't get to pick and choose when you get to act like a parent, the idiot authority. She's also wrong about the hit and run scenario. If you get it repaired, you'll have to pay your deductible, and it will jack up your rates. Interestingly, she thinks the way to deal with her daughter's behavior is to commit insurance fraud. What kind of mother is fine with her mid-teen daughter stealing a car, driving while intoxicated, and causing some sort of accident? If I did that, I wouldn't have a social life until I went to college. Her daughter is a budding car thief, and she's not concerned enough to punish her. The new dynamic is hard? Tell mum and daughter next time you call the cops and they can tell them about the new dynamic. She may be telling the wrong person to grow up. She must look in the mirror. Insurance fraud is a crime. Don't do it. Also, you'd better report the theft of your car and the accident to the police. She obviously hit something with it, and there's a good chance a camera somewhere recorded your car, and it can be traced back to you. Then I think you should separate. Her daughter committed at least 3 serious crimes: auto theft, drunk driving, and hit and run. She has put you at risk of being sued and possibly arrested. You can't live in a home where that behavior isn't dealt with. Everyone's the idiot here. Wife and daughter are idiots for obvious reasons. You're an idiot for not taking this seriously enough. You're playing petty games about basketball and rides to school when there's a criminal in the house and her mother is enabling her. What else is she up to that you don't know about? This is the can of worms your wife just threw into your lap. She's more interested in covering the butt of herself and her daughter than in doing the right thing. I, 26 female, have been pretty lucky regarding inheritance. I'm the eldest of my siblings, but I have a different dad and am the only child he had. Despite him being a piece of crap I didn't know very well, I inherited everything he had. I sold the properties in another state and used the money I had to buy 2 properties. My place, a bush property, and a house closer to the city with 2 granny flats. The house my parents, siblings, and a few aunts, uncles, and cousins live rent-free. I did this because we grew up poor and thought this would be a good idea. To the actual event. I got a call from my aunt saying that they're going to report my dog, Hybrid, for attacking my cousin unless I give them the money for medical bills. In the country we live in, healthcare is free. I hung up immediately and checked my cameras, and lo and behold, my cousin was on my property the night before trying to break into my shed. My dog chased him down but didn't attack him whatsoever. The idiot jumped over a barbed wire fence and tried to pin it on the dog. Right now I'm refusing as I know it won't go anywhere and my dog is safe, but my family, including my parents, are trying to tell me to pay up or they will report my dog. After that, I just told them if they do, they could all be out on the streets. I've got the eviction notice prepared just in case. I don't care that it won't go anywhere, but it's the fact that they think it will and are actively trying to get my dog put down. I'm feeling like an idiot about it though, since there are some young kids in that house that I love to bits. Am I the idiot? Also, for clarification, my bush property where I live is a good 6 hours away from the other house. The idiot probably went through more petrol than what was even potentially worth stealing in that shed. Not the idiot. Your cousin was trying to steal from you and they're blackmailing you with the threat of potentially having your dog taken away or put down if you don't give them money. These people are bad news and will continue to hurt you. Don't threaten them. Get them off your property. Ungrateful idiots. Exactly, there will be another incident for sure. They think OP owes them just because she has something they don't. The free housing was a mistake. Evict them now before they fall down the stairs and sue you as the property owner or worse. They could do so much damage and seem the type to do it. I'd report your idiot cousin to the police for the attempted robbery and then tell the rest of your family that you have cameras and they caught what really happened. Don't worry, I'm planning on filing a police report and turning the footage over to the police. That footage shows my dog didn't attack him and he just ran off. The idiot cut himself on barbed wire while trying to get out of my yard. I do hope he's up to date on his tetanus. Call their bluff. Then watch your family change their tune to either being angry at you for wanting to go to the police or angry at him for lying. I, 25 male, was doing an oil change on my car in the back parking lot of my apartment complex. I wasn't in anyone's way and it took maybe 30 minutes. I clean up after myself. It's technically not allowed, but who gives a damn? I'm paying $3,000 a month. I'm not the only one who does it either. I've seen others spending hours on their cars out there. Anyway, this older lady, I don't know, maybe 70s, moved upstairs above me. She's a Karen, constantly in everyone's business and complaining about the dumbest crap. She walked all the way over to me with her crusty white dog and asked if I knew it was against the rules to do mechanics on your car in the lot. I'm like, oh no, I had no idea. She angrily said she'd report me and called me disrespectful. I just ignored her and finished up. I see her speedily walking over to the property manager's office. The next day, I got a fine for $20 wedged in my door, saying they received an anonymous report I was working on my car. I was angry. The property manager, Dan, 40s, male, rode over on his golf cart to chat with me while I was working on it in the past. He's very chill and he doesn't care about most of the policies unless you're committing a crime or actively disturbing the peace. He apologized and said he unfortunately has to do it once someone puts in an official complaint, since his bosses will see it. They'll make a big stink if it's not dealt with. He told me he didn't care. He suggested I do it late at night when it's past Karen's bedtime. I was kind of fed up with her at this point. I asked if I could make an official report that someone has a car in the lot that has had expired tags for the last month. Karen's husband's car. He just had surgery, so they haven't been able to get it renewed at the DMV, I guess. Dan laughed and said, "Oh man, really? That's devious, brother." I said, "Yeah, put that crap in. Our state gives the right for private property owners to tow any car with expired tags without notice." The car was towed the same day and she flipped out. It was hilarious. The cherry on top was Dan informing her he couldn't do anything because they'd received an official complaint. Many neighbours and I were nosy and watched the whole debacle outside. I piped up and said it's unfortunate how some people need to learn to mind their own business and chill with the reporting. She started crying, saying she doesn't have the money to get it back since it's $300 total. Too many bills with the surgery. Oops. I told my buddies. They think it's hilarious, but I've also heard some of my friends call me a major idiot and I went too far, since she's old and taking care of her husband. They said $300 was overkill when I was only fined $20. Whatever. I think she had it coming. She was constantly reporting people for the dumbest things. I mean, she screamed at little kids for colouring chalk on the sidewalk since it's against the rules. She also reported a teenager for keeping his bicycle on his balcony instead of the bike rack. It gets rusty out there with the rain. He's had it up there for years and it was never a problem before she moved in. She's been staying inside for the most part since, so no new reports have come in either. I kind of feel bad since she still hasn't gotten the car out of the impound though. Am I the idiot? Edit, to defend Dan a bit here, he does enforce rules if you're actively screwing around, like if kids are out there drawing slurs on the sidewalk. Yeah, he's going to do something. But little girls drawing rainbows and flowers during the summer vacation? Of course, no one cares, lol. Except Karen, obviously. Not the idiot. She plays stupid games and finally wins the prize. It's only $20 for you, but how many of your neighbours also receive $20 fines from her? That adds up quickly, so no, you're not the idiot here, she is. Don't let anyone guilt you into that. Plus, people like that have a pattern of being nosy idiots and trying to get everyone to follow suit. It sucks to be her. It would have cost her $0 to mind her business and keep her trap shut. I was all kinds of ready to vote you idiot, especially with the I know I'm breaking the rules but who cares attitude. But realistically, communities only work when people look out for each other rather than trying to screw each other over. It seems like this bird has no interest in being part of that community spirit, so she can't really blame anyone but herself for this happening. If she'd been a little less willing to kick up a stink for petty reasons, the other residents might have been more willing to help her out with what I'm sure is a difficult time right now. Update: if anyone cares, I saw the car in the lot this morning. I believe the grandson got it back for her. She still hasn't done her daily patrolling yet, so maybe she learned her lesson. I, 37 female, married my husband Todd, 41, very young. 3 years into our marriage, we got a divorce because he had an affair and got his mistress pregnant. We were split for 5 years, then decided we changed as people and reconciled for our daughter we had before the divorce, and for ourselves with the help of counselling. We've now been together for 6 years. During the years apart, I had another child with a serious partner who sadly passed away. A few days ago, we got a call from my husband's ex-mistress. She says her job wanted her to fly out of state this weekend for an opportunity, but it isn't possible with her son, and she asked us if we'd be willing to take him on such short notice. Usually my husband gets a hotel and stays with his son when she flies out, but she said this time would be a longer-term stay. I told my husband absolutely not, that wasn't happening. He said I was being unfair and that he cares for my daughter, who's from my late partner, like his own, and I should do the same. I screamed at him and said, "My daughter isn't the product of my affair. Absolutely no way is he staying here." He got angry and said I was being ridiculous and a witch because the child was innocent. In my eyes, it hurts me too much to look at that boy. Am I the idiot? It surprises me you remarried him, given you clearly haven't forgiven his infidelity and the child. The fact is, if you had, you would accept he had a child and has to be a father to him. That means you're a stepmother. You married a man with a child, no matter how he came to have it. It no longer mattered at that point that it came from an affair. Just like you, he was a parent with a child. You chose to marry a man with a child, which means you have to allow him to parent that child in your shared home without blowing a gasket or treating that child ill. You are the idiot. Before you remarried him, did you tell him that you hate his child, will always hate it and never treat the kid well, all while expecting him to love your child? You chose this relationship, and now you want a father to choose you and your child over his. Pretty lousy. You decided to remarry him. Husband is an idiot because he's allowed you to treat this child as a second-class citizen. He was very wrong to have an affair, but it isn't the child's fault, and your husband should not have gotten back together with you for the benefit of one child while having this other one be treated inferior. Everyone's the idiot here. Maybe, just maybe, you two were better off divorced. This is an issue that is not going away. My sister-in-law, 43, cannot have children. This is important because it's 100% why she acts the way she does. My husband and I, both 29, have a pre-tween, and when we got pregnant at 22, sister-in-law insisted we give her our child because we were too young to be reproducing. We're not the first and probably will not be the last people that she pulled the same line with, but she checked herself into therapy a while back for the issues she has. For those wondering, she's not eligible for adoption or fostering. She's been denied several times for many different reasons. Over the years, she's definitely overstepped all of the parents in the family, telling the kids what they can and cannot do, or arguing with the parents on issues that have nothing to do with her, i.e., if someone says their kid can't do something, it's met with a, "Why the heck not? You're so mean for no reason, let them do it," stated in front of the children, causing issues because Auntie said we could. The latest issue is us going to mother-in-law's house for Gramps' 90th birthday. They have at least 8 miles of ATV trails behind their home that are constantly crowded with dirt bikes and four-wheelers. The kids wanted to go on the trails and we told our son that he couldn't due to a safety issue. Kids do not belong on ATV trails. Sister-in-law says, "Why not? I literally just told them they could." So I simply stated, "Well, my son isn't yours and you have no right to grant permission." She starts arguing and then openly looks at my son saying, "I said it was fine, just go." I told my husband to get our son in the vehicle, and when he was out of earshot I said, "Keep trying to parent my kid and there will be some problems. Watch how quickly I make sure you never see him again." I'm being told I'm an idiot by everyone outside of my husband because while sister-in-law overstepped, I turned petty and threatened no contact over something mundane. Definitely not the idiot. Your sister-in-law is not only massively overstepping with your child, she's giving them the go-ahead to do something that could hurt them. Honestly, I think you're already past the point of issuing a warning to keep your child away. They are 7 years old. If mom says no to something they want to do and auntie says yes, who do you think they'll listen to? Especially if it's something dangerous. Agree. Sister-in-law is out of her mind, rolling the dice with your kids and completely undermining you. Drastic measures are long overdue, with no contact or never letting her have unsupervised access to your kids, which will be next to impossible during family visits, so you must be a warrior and protect those kids. It sounds like your whole family, except your husband thankfully, is in the wrong here, so skip the visits.